Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I'll be discussing what I thought of the latest and very good episode of House of the Dragon. It dropped its most recent episode this past Sunday. I have had a hell of a busy week. So much has been going on at work. I finally had a chance to watch and catch up on this show earlier tonight. Just got done watching it, really enjoyed it. Before I get into all that, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review. If you're not caught up on House of the Dragon like I was with the second and most recent episode, you don't want to keep watching or listening, as I will be discussing spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. First and foremost, what great performances from everybody involved. There was real raw emotion and intensity in almost every scene between almost every group and set of characters. I especially enjoyed the scene between the King, Sir Criston, and Hightower. The thing that surprised me the most about that scene with those three is that Hightower, despite being manipulative and power hungry and wanting the throne for himself and his family, does seem to have a profound sense of justice or sparing the innocents, because he did seem righteously pissed that the king had all of the innocent rat catchers hung in addition to the one guilty one. Of course, you know, the reason why the guilty parties were apprehended is that, well, first they caught the one former Kingsguard, and then they hung all the rat catchers, which happened to include the actual guilty rat catcher. But Hightower really surprised me, because he was like, you know, you killed a bunch of innocent men, and I don't think it was necessarily for his concern for the loss of life. That may have been a part of it, but I think he was mostly concerned with how this could weaken their position as a powerful house, because they're trying to get the public on their side. They had this recent horrific, unthinkable tragedy occur, and they were gaining sympathy and support from the people of King's Landing because of that. And now the king has inadvertently made that backfire by hanging a bunch of innocent men, even though the guilty party was hung amongst them. Or hanged? Was it hanged or hung? You know what I mean? Hightower surprised me with his sense of protecting, or at least sparing, the innocent. You know, so I was like, boy, that's an interesting sentiment coming from a power-hungry manipulator. And then again, this is a show with complex characters and appalling circumstances. It's the same thing that appeals us in any that appeals to us in any series, like Walking Dead or the original Game of Thrones. And I'm not surprised at all it applies to a show in the vein of Game of Thrones, like House of the Dragons. Overall, great episode. Sorry to see both brothers go. I liked the one who was loyal to Rhaenyra more than the one who was loyal to the Hightowers. And unfortunately, we lost both of them. And at first I was like, is it the same actor playing both roles? But then watching an inside look at this episode immediately following this episode, they actually got a pair of twin brothers to play both respective parts. And I think that's pretty cool, because nowadays actors can play multiple parts in any show or movie. And if they have to appear on screen together, they just use body stunt doubles or CGI. But they just used real-life twins. And I thought, okay, cool. It adds to the authenticity. I like how the show seemingly tries to top itself with each episode. Now, obviously, the duel between the brothers isn't quite as horrific as the murder of an innocent child, but I think they were trying to recapture that shock value and that sense of loss, that sense of tragedy, because they know people liked these two characters, and now they're both gone. And both characters were important to both sides in this conflict. So I do appreciate and applaud the show for the fact that they seem to try to outdo themselves with each episode, or try to up the ante with each story they tell in each episode. I also really enjoyed the whole scene where the king basically fires his own grandfather as being Hand of the King, and then makes the night commander, the watch commander, his new Hand of the King. Of course, King's not in the right state of mind. He's grieving his loss. He's angry. He's furious. He's heartbroken. But it was still a great scene between those three characters, and excellent performances from all three of them too. I really enjoyed that. That might have been, besides the brothers fighting each other, that might have been my favorite scene in this episode, was watching those three men in that room arguing about their current situation and how to handle it, and what's going to happen moving forward with their respective roles. Hightower is out as Hand of the King. That title's now fallen to Sir Criston, and the King seems to be on board with that. Hightower obviously isn't, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out throughout the rest of the season. So I thought this was another solid, great episode. Sad to see the brothers go, but it made for entertaining television. So what did you guys think of the latest episode of House of the Dragon? Did you like it? Did you love it? Were you expecting more, expecting less? Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Have a wonderful rest of your night. House of the Dragon drops new episodes every Sunday night on Max. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Thanks again for watching, and of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.